Salut and welcome to a new video. This time I'm going to give you a couple of French Netflix shows and movies to watch in 2022. So if you want to know, then definitely stay tuned. Alright, before we get into this video, I want to give you guys a couple of announcements. The first one being that I am going to host a new French retreat next month in August. The first week is going to be in Paris, the second week in the French Riviera. So in total 2 weeks. If you want to join either, or you can join also both. More info is in the link in the description box below. And with that, also I am going to start off a 30-day French bootcamp. As you guys might know, I already have my polyglot bootcamp, but I also wanted to focus on French this time because with the polyglot bootcamp is essentially for everyone to join at the same time. So people might learn Spanish, French, different languages, but it makes more sense now to teach people in groups, people who learn the same language. So with this, I'm going to start French now in preparation of the French retreat next month. So it's going to start July 19th. So this time we're only focusing on French, everything French. I'm going to teach French with life lessons. Everything is included, really everything you need. And to kick off this 30-day French challenge, you can actually sign up now for a discount of 50%. Yes, 50%, but it's only valid until tomorrow. So today and tomorrow, make sure you get that 50% discount. It's going to be like $74.50, I think, with that discount. Make sure to check out the link also for that in the description box and to sign up as soon as possible and to start your French journey with me. So the first series we're going to start off with is Lupin. Lupin is based off a French book that is called Arsène Lupin. It's kind of like the French Sherlock Holmes, but not really Sherlock Holmes because he is a gentleman thief. So it's a story and every kid almost knows this story. So this series has taken a couple of elements from that main character of the book Arsène Lupin. That's why it's called Lupin. And the main character of the series is Arsène. Basically, he's also inspired by the book Arsène Lupin, which he was gifted when he was a child by his dad. Unfortunately, his dad got innocently sent to prison by the family he was working for, and there in prison he eventually died. So Arsène is trying to get revenge, and the way he does it is by following the steps of Arsène Lupin, who is a gentleman thief. So essentially Arsène is also a gentleman thief, and he is very inspired by everything Arsène Lupin does in the book. So he always reads and remembers things from the book, and that's how the storyline kind of goes. It's set in Paris. Definitely a good one to watch. It's a drama, thriller, mystery series. There's a little bit of everything in it. I would recommend it for intermediate to advanced learners because the things they speak about can be a little bit advanced. I'm not sure if a beginner would understand the way the characters talk because it is also fast. So definitely for intermediate and advanced. Alright, next one is actually a movie, and that one is Intouchable. That one is with the same actor who is Omar Sy. If you haven't heard about this movie, you might have seen him in another movie because he's in so many French movies. So he's a very known French actor. Intouchable was a very successful movie. It came out about 10 years ago, and it was successful in so many different countries, not only in France but all across Europe basically. So Intouchable is a very interesting and moving story about this paralyzed millionaire, wealthy Parisian who needs a caregiver. He interviews a bunch of guys, and then he comes across one who is not really motivated to do the job, but he ends up doing it, and they actually end up developing this uncommon but very beautiful friendship. So this is a very touching story, and it's actually inspired by a true story. That's why it's even more beautiful. This one I think beginners can also watch because it's not too fast. Sometimes it speaks fast, but sometimes it's just normal pace. So you can definitely follow along with that, and there's nothing technical or anything like that. So I think it's a simple story, not complicated to understand. So if the storyline is simple, actually it's easier to understand. Definitely recommendable for any type of French learners. And the next one is Family Business. Family Business is a comedy series that is also set in Paris. Most French movies are set in Paris. I don't know why, because in France everything moves around Paris essentially. So a lot of movies are either set in Paris, or if they're set in the south, then they're set in Marseille. This one is Family Business. A Jewish guy who fails at any business he touches, tries to come up with an interesting family business, and that is selling marijuana. When he learns that it is being legalized in France, he starts his family business to sell marijuana. And before that, the family actually owned a butcher shop where he hates to work at. He was trying everything to not work for the family business, but to find a business for himself, and then eventually he came up with this. So that's where the story unfolds, and you can watch that. So this is also an interesting series, and it's quite funny, so good to watch, definitely. And I like the way they make jokes and humor can be a little difficult to understand if you're starting out to learn, but I think this one is very lighthearted and like fun to watch, so you can definitely try even if you're a beginner to watch it. Also, it's actually called Family Business in the French version, but if you are from somewhere else, then you might probably just find it under joint venture. I found out about it because I actually switched my VPN location to Germany, from France to Germany, and when I had it turned on to France, then it was Family Business. But later on I looked for it again, I didn't find it under Family Business, I only found it under joint venture. That's in the German version, but I think anywhere else also the names might change. So for that also you need a VPN. VPN is the best thing you could have, not only for watching Netflix, but also for your phone, for using different apps. Like I use it with so many things to switch my locations, because sometimes it's restricted. You can use certain things when you're outside of the US. For example, when you're in the US, wherever you are, sometimes it's just restricted to use certain apps, to watch certain streaming, to watch Netflix shows. And also with the different countries, Netflix restricts the options for you. So having a VPN is essential. I can't even stress how much. I'm using ExpressVPN. I've been using it for almost like 2 years now, and it's been excellent. I've never ever had problems with it, so definitely make sure to use a VPN. If you want to check out ExpressVPN, you can get up to 3 months free, so definitely make sure you check out ExpressVPN down below. Next one is kind of like a reality show. It's called L'Agence, and it's a reality show where they follow a family-owned real estate business in Paris, a luxury real estate business. So it's quite interesting to watch. You can also get a glimpse of French family living, because it's a family-owned business and they literally work at home, at their home. So the family dynamic, how it works, how they speak to each other, how they work together, everything is quite interesting to watch, and how it works in a French family, that's also interesting to watch. So L'Agence is a good one to watch too if you're interested in that. What I like about reality TV, if it's not trash TV, this one is a good one because it actually has substance. So you can learn so much about how people speak in everyday life, and because it's very natural, you know. For the most part, reality shows are not that scripted, like for example movies or series. So people speak naturally, and with that there are a lot of different words and vocabulary that you wouldn't find in written text, or sometimes even in movies, depending on what kind of movie you're watching or series. And that's why it's good to watch people, how they speak naturally, and that's what L'Agence is very good for. Another movie is also with the actor Omar Sy. I told you guys that he's in so many movies and series in France. This one is called Demain tout commence, which literally translates to tomorrow everything begins. And this one is also kind of like a comedy drama about a guy who has like just a fling with this girl, and then a year later she pops up and just says that here, this is your child, and just leaves the child at his doorsteps as basically, and he's left alone with this baby, no idea, he doesn't know anything about babies. And then he decides to move to London to raise the child by himself. So it's a touching story, but there's also comedy in it. So it's also good to watch for beginners, intermediate, for all levels really. And I think it's not hard to understand, and there too you have a good mix of colloquial language where you can learn a lot of everyday vocabulary. And the next one is The Flying Frenchies, which is a half-an-hour documentary on the Flying Frenchies, who are a group, an artistic group, traveling, so you can watch that too. A documentary is also always good to watch because you see people in their natural habitat, how they speak like. So good one also, and it's short, so you can watch that very quickly. All right, this one is La Vie Scolaire. La Vie Scolaire is about a teacher who moves to a banlieue outside of Paris. A banlieue is essentially a neighborhood outside of Paris, and this one is kind of like a more problematic neighborhood. So a lot of kids in the school have problems, not only in school but also at home with parents, being incarcerated, different things like that they have to deal with. It's essentially about a group of teachers trying to help their students. Obviously, the students have so many problems to bring from home to the school. This movie is a good way to show how teacher-student relationships work in France, and then also how the school system works in France. It's also quite different, even from the German school system. It's very different. So for me to watch that was also quite interesting. All right, so those were the main shows that I recommend for now. Of course, there will always be more, and if you guys know other shows that you enjoy in French, then let me know. These are on top of the video that I already made about French Netflix series and shows. So these are just to give you a couple of more options aside from the video that I already made. If you want to add on any series of movies, then just leave them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Salut!